Hey there, Leo. Welcome to your reading for the week of July 21st. Happy birthday to you, July Leos out there. You have this revenge card and this lust card. So, yeah, I would be careful of any past people just in general. I don't even feel love necessarily, Leo. I would just like, again, if you've, I say this mostly because I feel that Leo has dealt with toxic people, like in work and business, other areas of life. That this could just be any person, not love. And I would be careful of any like past people, in work or business or other areas of your life that are returning at this time. It's like if someone's coming in to apologize or whatever, it's like you can accept the apology, but I would be careful of, it's like, I don't know. It's like sometimes I think people do that to like spy. It's like they come back to apologize and they're really looking for more. And, again, that's popping into my head there with that energy for sure. So, with that revenge card, I don't really feel anyone's trying to get revenge necessarily. It feels more like, again, a spy is what I feel. It's like, they're coming in looking for something. They're coming in looking for answers. Or it's like, maybe, if it is an ex or something like that, it's like maybe it's a person who's coming in looking for, validation. It's like, maybe they're coming back to be like, yeah, this person still wants me. That kind of energy. So I definitely get that there with that card. And so there you go. In your current general energies, your first row here, you have the Three of Pentacles, the King of Pentacles, and the Three of Wands. Three of Pentacles is about putting your work on display. I'm pretty sure that you get this a lot with me, Leo. And I really feel it's Pluto and Aquarius, your opposite sign, Aquarius, is, I think making you need to put your work out into the world, even if it isn't perfect, right? And he's putting his work on display, and he's receiving recognition from the people around him. I mean, I do feel it is time for Leo to get recognition for their work. I think you've had a hard time with this as well. I'm pretty sure I've said this to you in recent readings that, it just seems to me like you've had a hard time getting the recognition you deserve, or, you've had a hard time standing out or whatever. And, but I feel like you are now, or you will be. And so I really have nothing else to say there. I think it'll be good for you, Leo. You have the King of Pentacles. I do feel you are stabilizing your finances for sure. And it's kind of like a weird thing with that Three of Pentacles. I feel like it's almost like the less you care about your finances, the better your finances are gonna do. And isn't that always true, right? It's like, everybody I've ever met who is like always worried about money never has money. It's always the people that I've met that are just like, yeah, whatever, that have the most money, right? So it's like, I think the more we worry about it, of course, we're pushing it away. We are resisting it, right? And it's almost like that's what I feel with that Three of Pentacles for some reason. It's like the more, and I'm not saying you shouldn't pay attention or, be careless or anything like that, but it's almost like the more carefree energy you can give towards money, as in like not giving it energy at all, I think the better your finances will do at this time. And I think this will continue into the future. Like this is I feel like this is something that you're going to be working towards for a long time, this type of energy. The other thing is like your skills. I don't know how to say this, but I've definitely been saying this to you for a long time, Leo. I feel like Leo has a skill that they've learned over many years, probably, that would be very valuable like in other places, of life. It's almost like, I don't know. It's like if you have like marketing skills, it's like, maybe you do marketing for a certain like industry, but it's like obviously those skills could be used for something else, right? For anything. Like the principles of marketing are all pretty much the same, no matter where you go, right? And that I feel that with this card, it's like you have a skill, and like it's almost like you need to value it more, or you need to realize that it's much more valuable than you think. He has these grapes on his cloak, and grapes in the tarot represent a skill that you have that is difficult for most people, but you can do it well. And so, like, I don't know, there's something about that, and I don't know, I would brainstorm on that. I would think about it. You have the Three of Wands. Three of Wands, card of expansion and growth. I do feel like there's a lot of expansion and growth coming in for you here, Leo. Probably through putting yourself on display with the Three of Pentacles, right? The Three of Wands, he has to expand. That's kind of like the thing, is that he has to get out into the world. He has to do something to expand. You could argue that next year we have Jupiter going into your sign as well. It's going to be leaving Cancer and going into Leo, obviously. And, I don't know. could be causing you to expand. could be even though it's not there yet, it doesn't matter. You could be coming up with plans. You could be putting plans together that are going to cause you to expand. I always say, to me, astrology is like a wave. It's like catch the wave early. Then you'll get the benefits next year, or you'll get them sooner, So I think that expansion is going to be a pretty big theme for you, Leo. And but you're going to have Leo specifically, I feel like, is going to have to do this through taking up more space, doing more. It's not even about doing more. It's just about showing off in the right ways. With the Three of Pentacles, you have the Tower. I am a little bit worried about this week. This week is good, but I do feel that there could be some sort of global event or something this week. I don't know. I don't like predicting these things, but again, it is what it is, right? And everybody's had the Devil this week again. Everybody had the Devil in the July readings, and a couple of people have had the Tower this week. Whenever I notice like these collective themes, like something usually happens in the world, and I don't know, there's something sketchy about this week in general. Keep your head on straight, don't panic. But the other thing is that I feel like this is saying that you need to get with the times, like literally. I feel like some of you, I think some of you are, probably because Aquarius is your opposite sign. But, for others, I feel like you need to, upgrade. We're in a different time. We are going to see an explosion of technology with Uranus and Gemini, Pluto and Aquarius. I also think that what people don't realize is we've had Uranus and Taurus. We see, whenever Uranus and Taurus is in Taurus, we do see technological breakthrough. Literally, we had AI blow up during Uranus and Taurus, right? But it's kind of like after that we see more things, right? So I feel like this is saying, get with the times. I don't know. That's a message that's popping into my head. With the King of Pentacles, I should have said it. I knew these two were connected because you have the Knight of Wands right here with that King of Pentacles. So, for whatever reason, I felt like these two were connected. When I started, and now they clearly they are. The Knight of Wands is about being playful with the energy. Knight of Wands like a builder. He's building something. I think it would be an amazing time for you to build something in your life, and it could be anything. It could be a business, could be just building your knowledge, learning something new, anything that would be exciting to you, right? The Knight of Wands is just about excitement, and it could be anything, and you never know where it could go, right? It's like you might be excited about jumping rope, right? But what you don't realize is in the future, maybe you become a jump rope expert, and it's like I'm sure there's someone on social media right now that teaches jump rope and probably makes at least 6 figures a year, probably more, right? So it's like I think that's what people don't realize about the time that we're in. We're in a time of inspiration where we're going to be inspired, and the things that we're inspired by might be totally random and out of left field, but it could be the thing that makes you a crap ton of money, or it could be the thing that makes you very successful in the future. So I believe that we really need to be following those inspirations. It's like gone are the days where you can have a career and things like that as well, especially once the robots take over, right? So it's like we all have to be like thinking this way and evolving, and it's not scary. This should be good for people. With the Three of Wands, you have the Ten of Pentacles, everything you want and desire in your life. Ten of Pentacles is everything you want and desire in your life. It is building, leaving a legacy. You are a fixed sign. All fixed signs, I believe, are very focused on legacy building, creating security, long-term security in the future. So whatever you're thinking about doing could lead to a lot of long-term security. We also go up to the Two of Cups here. So Ten of Pentacles to me is the best love card in the deck because it's like everything you want and desire in a connection. I think that a lot of you could be attracting a very solid connection. I feel some of you are, if you don't have love already, you probably know who this person is already. But for whatever reason, I don't know. I feel like you see this person as a little bit of a maverick with the Knight of Wands. The Knight of Wands, some people say he's inconsistent, but again, that's not always true. It's like I look at tarot as a spectrum. So this person absolutely could be a little bit of a maverick in life. It's like they might be, I don't know, there's something about them. They might be a little bit of an adventurer. They might be a little bit of a Indiana Jones type, adventurer. But I don't know. Looks good to me, so I wouldn't be too worried about it. Next, in the area of what's coming in for you is what I needed to remember. You have this Poised card and this Chaos and Conflict card. We are in a time of chaos. I've been saying this for years now, and I've been saying till 2033. That's when Uranus leaves Gemini. And, technically Uranus leaves Gemini in 2032, but it will retrograde and it will go back into Gemini. So again, technically it's not really going to leave until 2033. And what I would say here is that we're in, and how crazy is this, by the way? 33 right here, Leo. So there you go, right? How interesting is that? But I've been predicting this for years. I've been talking about this. And I've been talking about how there's so many things that I say all the time that people they just leave comments saying, you just repeat yourself about this. Meanwhile, completely ignoring all the new stuff that I say, but also, ignoring the fact that this is critically important, that we are in a time where the worlds are splitting. I believe we should probably pick the new world that we expand into, where we embrace the chaos, we just deal with it, and we realize that really we're poised for something better. She's being lifted up on a pedestal. It's like, this shouldn't be scary. You are being poised to receive something good in life. You are poised to receive, expansion, growth, but you have to embrace it. And that's what I would do here, Leo. You have the Two of Pentacles, Nine of Wands, the Ace of Pentacles. I do feel pretty good about this Two of Pentacles. I feel like a lot of you could be very busy at this time. Sometimes I just feel the Two of Pentacles is talking about general busyness, just having a lot to do. And that's it. I just feel like you have a lot to do, probably for the next month. I actually feel like the retrograde time, the retrograde is over on the August 11th or 12th, depending on where you are in the world. And so, basically I think that a lot of you could be very busy, just doing a lot, right? A lot of work or whatever, and that's pretty much it. But this retrograde, where I was going with that, I think, for the next month, basically, is going to be a good time for you to do this work. You have the Nine of Wands. I do feel like you have to open up a little bit more at this time, especially for those of you that want love. It's clear to me that you're going to have to open up to this if you want it, and so I would be open. The Nine of Wands also is my card of experimentation. It's my card of throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what sticks, which I think it would be an amazing time, clearly, for you to experiment, try new things, all that other stuff. You have the Ace of Pentacles. I don't know. I feel like I'm pretty sure it's you, Leo, that gets this card with me every single reading, right? The Ace of Pentacles. So, because I'm always talking about potential with you, Leo. I feel like you have so much potential, and I'm always trying to encourage you, Leo, to move towards that potential, because I feel like that potential is really going to be the thing that makes you very successful. But it's like I think you really have to put the work in to make something happen here, or something. I don't know. Something's going on with this Ace of Pentacles, where it's I feel like you really have to put the work in to reach your full potential or something. And, I don't know, that's kind of what I get on this Ace of Pentacles. If you're getting any opportunities, this to me is saying, go for it. Then you have the Ace of Wands, which is out with the old, in with the new. It's this could be one of those things where you're starting something new very quickly, and the reading is really saying you really have to go for it. Yes, with the Two of Pentacles, you have the Two of Wands, which, again, we go down to the Two of Wands here. Two of Wands is about leaving the castle. He has the whole world in his hands. It's he has to leave his comfort zone, which comes up in every single Leo reading, and he has to get out into the world so that he can expand, And he also has to build something in a new world, which I think a lot of you are doing here, Leo. With the Nine of Wands, you show up as a strength card. Again, pretty good. Whenever you show up as yourself, puts you in a position of power and strength, allows you to get what you want from the reading. It's a card of putting a lot of work into yourself as well, which I think you have for a long time. And so, I think that you need to realize that you are, I feel kind of similar to what I always say to Virgo, which is you are enough. So if you have Virgo in your chart, you might want to watch the Virgo reading this week. But, I kind of feel the same thing for you, where it's you need to realize, I feel different for you. I feel it's a lot different than Virgo, but I kind of feel the message is similar, that you need to believe that you're enough. Because the reason I feel different for you is because it's more about your capabilities, right? I think that for Leo, it's you think that something requires this much effort, but it really requires this much effort, down here. And so I feel like you're overestimating what something requires in work, business, whatever, could be love, could be anything that you're going for here, Leo. And, I think you need to realize the bar is much lower, but in a good way. With the Ace of Pentacles, you have the Page of Wands. Page of Wands, definitely a very adventurous time for you. Knight of Wands, Page of Wands, Knight of Wands. Three of Wands, card of expansion. This is definitely encouraging you to follow your enthusiasm. It's kind of hard to describe the Ace of Pentacles with the Page of Wands. It's sometimes we can't really, put our finger on it. And, so that's kind of what I feel for you there. Next, in the area of messages from your future self, you have this card. It says a time to remember. It says look back on your childhood. You have this say yes card. It says now is the time to be open and to receive. There you go. So I think you just need to say yes to the things that you want, and you will get them. I also feel that there could be, it is kind of like a nostalgic time. So, there could be some childhood dreams that you're thinking of, and you could be working on those things. You have the Two of Cups, the Knight of Wands, and the Justice card. Two of Cups is definitely going to be an adventure. So, here with the Knight of Wands. So if you're attracting love, this is definitely going to be an adventure for sure. I feel like this is like a Willy Wonka type character that you're dating. if you're attracting love, I don't know. That's what's popping into my head. It's like this person has a factory that is their life, and I feel like it's weird. And there's like it could be like a very eccentric personality. Definitely I feel like I've said this to you as well, Leo, that there's more than meets the eye. It's like, if you have your eye on a person, there's a lot you don't know. But I mean that in the best way possible. Like this person could have like hobbies, it's like they do stuff with their life, but it's just weird stuff, but not like weird in a bad way. I think it's like an interesting person. So there you go. I also feel that this is you. Two of Cups is you and your higher self. So the Two of Cups encourages us to communicate with our higher self, to get guidance on where we need to go in life. And, I think a lot of you could be tapping in here. You have the Knight of Wands again. We've talked a lot about this already. One thing I will say is you have the moon right next to it. And the moon is coming up in the good stuff. But the moon can represent fears, fantasies, illusions, and mysteries. The Knight of Wands, he has these pyramids here. The pyramids on the Knight of Wands represent mystery. So the Knight of Wands always says to me, to you, that, if there's a mystery in your life, don't just let it be a mystery. Research it. Like if there's something you don't know about something that you're interested in, the Knight of Wands says explore it, because you never know what you might discover. It's worth it. You have the Justice card. Justice is cause and effect and balance and, all those other things. I do feel that you could be kind of receiving some karma at this time, but it's almost like karma you've worked for, because we have that strength card right here, right here. It's like sometimes I think we just get karma from from something. If we go through a difficult relationship, someone cheats on us, maybe in the future we get some sort of karma, right? I feel like this is karma that that has been hard to earn, is what I feel. It's like sometimes we can go through a relationship and or something. I'm just using that as an example here, Leo. It could be anything, right? It's like sometimes I think we go through a relationship and it's like we learn a bunch of these like really hard lessons, and they're like a bunch of hard truths that we have to admit to ourselves, and then we have to work through that, and then we get the reward. That's like what this feels like to me. It's like it's not something that you've just received. It's something that you've worked through, and but I think it's good. With the Two of Cups, you have the Three of Swords. Definitely could be healing from a past heartbreak. Some of you need to get out of your head. Like you could be too worried that someone is going to break your heart, but I don't even think this has started yet. The other thing I would say is make sure both people are healed with the Three of Swords. Like you make sure you're healed, make sure they're healed, and as long as you do that, I think you'll be fine. It is a good time for healing, is what I would say. I mean, again, we have the South Node in Virgo. I think it is a good time to heal, just in general. Like your health, right? With the Knight of Wands, you have the Knight of Swords. Yeah, no rushing in connections right now. I always tell people I think it's perfectly fine to date during Mercury retrograde, even though Mercury is going retrograde in Leo. Again, I don't think we should let astrology control our lives. And on top of that, astrology isn't going to prevent you from being with a person you're meant to be with anyway. But but again, at the same time, you can take your time. Yes, with the Justice card, you have the King of Wands. Also could be you showing up here in a strong position. King of Wands is about being bold, being assertive, being confident, really making things happen, which I kind of feel like you are there with that card. Next, in the area of the good stuff, you have the Spirit World card. It says, the Spirit Guides... Let me start that over. It says, your Spirit Guides are sending you helpful people and opportunities your way. Yes. You have this tricky situation. It says, a sly approach is necessary in order to safely navigate a tricky situation. This is good. The moon could be a tricky situation, but it's coming up in the good stuff. So a lot of you probably have navigated a tricky situation, and I definitely feel that. I kind of feel like you're looking for an answer. How weird is it that there's that planchette there on the Spirit World card, and it says yes, no. It's almost like, didn't I just say this? I feel like I just said something to you about this, about the finish line. Did I say that to you, or am I losing my mind? I'm not sure. But it's almost like you want to know what is going to be at the finish line before you get there. But I feel like the reading is saying, no, you can't know. So if you're if you're needing to know what is going to happen at a finish line, that's probably not going to happen. But I think this is kind of like saying you need to like trust your guides. You have the Ace of Wands, the Moon, and the Two of Wands. Ace of Wands out with the old, in with the new. It's coming up in the good stuff, which is great. I feel like you are starting to come from a very inspired place. The other funny thing that I'm getting here, Leo, that I'm just going to say here is, and I don't want you to worry about this at all. This is not something to worry about. It's like, I think you are maybe like a little bit behind, but not in a bad way. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm saying is, like, if let's say you are building a business, maybe you think you are going to make $1 million in the next 6 months. Like, for the message that's popping into my head is like, no, it's going to take you maybe like a year. But again, still big deal. $1 million in a year would not be, I wouldn't be complaining about that, right, Leo? So I feel like this is saying that your timeline is maybe a little bit too early. So, but again, I feel like this is encouraging you. It's like saying that you should not give up on something that you're working on, especially in work or business. It's like, that's the message I'm getting, is that like, what you think is going to happen, but it might just take like a little bit longer than you think. So don't give up. And again, that you're going to be getting rewards all the way along. Like, obviously, it's not like you're going to have $0 and then $1 million in a year. It's like, obviously, you're going to be making money all the way along. But, I'm just saying it might take a little bit longer. You have the Moon card. The Moon card can represent fears, fantasies, illusions, but in the good stuff, I always say that the Moon, to me, says that you are seeing things more clearly, or you are getting more clarity on life in general. So I kind of just feel clarity on the Moon card, or like you could be seeing things more clearly in life, and obviously that would be a good thing. I also feel like your emotional state is actually pretty clear at this time, which is good. It seems to me like we're in a time where our emotions really could be like extra manifesting things in our life. Like, I think it's always true that our emotional state probably kind of shapes our reality, right? But it seems like extra true for you right now, Leo. So, but the good news is I think that coming up in the good stuff, you're kind of maybe keeping it more positive. You have the Two of Wands. Yeah, I'm kind of happy to see this in the good stuff, because I think for a long time Leo has needed to leave a comfort zone to get what they truly desire. And I just think you are leaving a comfort zone to get something that you want and desire in your life. He also maybe needs to realize that this wand here stands on its own. The whole point of that wand standing on its own is that he's reaching forward to something new. It's like something in the past is done, and now you're ready for, the next stage. Here we go. With the Ace of Wands, you have the Knight of Cups. Yes, Knight in Shining Armor. We have 3 Knights here. So, Knights can represent communication. I feel like if this is love, there needs to be communication, or there will be communication here. But definitely could be a Knight in Shining Armor. Very passionate connection as well. With the Moon, what do you know? You have the King of Swords. King of Swords is knowledge and wisdom. We were talking about digging into the mystery with the Knight of Wands and the Moon. So the King of Swords, he learns things, but then he takes what he learns and he puts it into practice. That is the difference between knowledge and wisdom. Knowledge is just knowing something. Wisdom is having actually used the knowledge in putting it into practice, which we all need to do right now. The only thing robots cannot do is have human experience, right? And I think that is the thing. I work with a ton of YouTubers. I teach YouTube on the weekends. And I always tell people, I have a ton of people that are worried that AI is going to take over YouTube and all this other stuff. I'm like, well, number one, it probably is. But number two, one thing that, there are tons of YouTubers that just regurgitate information, right? And then there are people who live it. And there is a huge difference between those two people, right? The people who just regurgitate information, they can do well on YouTube, but, just okay. The people who actually share their unique experience, right here, with the King of Swords, who turning knowledge into wisdom, those are the people who are going to be AI-proof. So if you are in content creation or even anything, just in general, I would say that having that experience is what will save you. With the Two of Wands, you have the Magician. Yes, you can have whatever you want at this time. I feel like I always say this to you, Leo. I feel like you need to believe it. So there you go. I feel like I always pull the card he's pointing to. You have this card that says, review your responsibilities. Not all your responsibilities are yours to hold. Yes, definitely. I think that Leos need to focus on themselves more at this time. And that's what I would do with that energy, is that you need to realize that your needs need to come first at this time. And you need to accomplish big things, right? And that's pretty much what I would do with that card. You have this dog far away. It says a distant friend is thinking of you. You have like it seems to be like an important time for like friends, family, people that you're close to. So again, if you're thinking of a person, you might be a good time to reach out to those people that maybe just haven't heard from you in a while, right? You have this V card. It says victory in some endeavor. Yeah, there could be some big victories coming in for you for sure. So I think there are big wins, big victories coming in. You have this tree card. It says affairs with your family. I literally just said that. So there you go. It is an amazing time for family, I think, for whatever reason. So if you haven't heard from family in a while, or like a person that you consider family, you might be worth it to reach out. You have this firecracker. It says excitement on it. I do think there is something going on this week. Number one, like maybe a little bit challenging in the world. So I would keep your head on straight. The tower does not have to be bad. The tower can be excitement. It can say there's like some sort of exciting. I don't even know what that word means, but could some sort of exciting event happening for you, which is good. You have this June card, and you have this crib card. It says birth or conception of a child or an enterprise. You could be thinking back to June and maybe some ideas that you have had, and you could be revisiting those ideas and kind of rebirthing them. I do think that would be good. Is what I would say here. So there you go. But this looks pretty good, Leo. Actually, you have one of the more positive readings, I would say, this week, so that's good as well. The other readings were a little bit more tricky, so there you go. But thank you for being here, and definitely enjoy your week.